Get ready to dive into the comic book realm, where heroes rise and villains take the helm. We're here to dissect the stories and the art. Our source material, we tear the panels apart.
Let's talk about Drax Earthfall. This happened in 2000, dropped in September 2005. Written by Keith Giffen, who's been around for quite a while. The artist on this was Mitch Breitweiser. He had a very small career in comics between 2005 and 2012. I think this was one of his earliest works. And I'm talking like maybe 20 to 30 credits on Mike's Amazing World of Comics. So the artist here, not around very long. Letter by Corey Pettit, colored by Brian Reber. So, Mark, I mean, before we jump into this, I don't know if you have anything important that you want to say about why you picked these books.
Yeah, let me reiterate, and then I'll put my serious face on.
Here.
I was curious. What started this was looking for stuff for us to talk about. I had heard that CM Punk was doing comic books in between hiatuses or dalliances with wrestling, which I don't remember the years. I was still with Melissa when CM Punk came back to All Wrestling, but I had stopped watching wrestling when the bit with Jungle Boy Jack happened in England and CM Punk's brawl with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. I've since watched a lot of interviews on it and whatever. But yeah, CM Punk left the WWE, proceeded to go into mixed martial arts because if you'll remember, he was into Muay Thai. What is Muay Thai? CM Punk sold himself as this mixed martial artist. That was his character. Before the Straight Edge Society, before the Pipe Bomb, his whole thing in ECW, like the WWE version, was I'm a mixed martial artist.
Mm-hmm.
I remember his promo on ECW. He was like, I am an expert in all forms of combat. And he was like, jiu-jitsu, boxing, Muay Thai. And then infamously, according to legend, Vince McMahon backstage, what the fuck is Muay Thai? Muay Thai.
Thanks, Vince.
So he goes into the UFC the same way that like Brock Lesnar did and Kimbo Slice and all of these guys that came from other areas, from wrestling to bum fights, were given opportunities to prove themselves in the UFC. Like, let's see what you got. And CM Punk crumbled. Like, they tried with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar became champion. Fucking hit Randy Couture so hard, he went rolling back to a Limp Bizkit concert. On the other hand, Shane Carwin hit him. He went to sleep, and the ref was like, he'll be fine. Wake up, Brock. Wake up. Oh, I'm still awake. And then he won the next round. That's okay, because then he got murdered by what's his nuts. So, like, they were willing to take flyers on some of these guys. They took a flyer on CM Punk. He got crushed. Like, it was embarrassing. Like, it looked like fucking he got little brothered.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, let's try you against a literal scarecrow. And the scarecrow beat him.
Oh, no.
That was the end of it.
Time to hang him up.
So far, he's not really a mixed martial artist so much as he's a big fat liar. If Robert were here right now, he's like, that's not fair. But yeah, so his mixed martial arts career was over. Between then and him coming back to the WWE, he tries a lot of different things. He does acting, he does comic book writing, he goes to Chicago Blackhawk games, he goes back to the WWE and does some like commentary gigs. So he's like a real renaissance man during this period. That's how I found out about his Drax comics. These are the only full runs he does. He's done issues or short stories,
right,
pendulums here and there. But this is like the full-on, like, we trust you to write an entire series. All 11 issues, Hotshot. Tom King writes $500 million a year. We're going to give you a hot 11 and a partner.
And that's understandable. I mean, if you're going straight into the comic book industry, you kind of need somebody to hold your hand a little bit.
Well, it's so funny. He said that he wanted to do Punisher. And they were like, slow down. Let's give you a character that if you fuck this up, nobody cares. Here's Drax the Destroyer, who, in his own solo book, who cares if it does well or not? He's a Guardian side character.
Right.
So that's why we're talking about it, because I was curious to see if CM Punk's abilities in the UFC translated to his abilities in comics. Turns out he's a better comic book writer than he is a fighter.
Yeah. Give me your thoughts. I mean, and they may not be very many, but as far as Drax as a character.
My son walked over to me right before the podcast started. He was like, is Drax as dumb in the comics as he is in the movies? And I'm like, no, he's way dumber in the movies. He didn't start off that way. In the first movie, he's a little closer to the comics. By the second and third movie, he's comic relief.
Mm-hmm.
They made him stupid, but in a way that makes the normies laugh. For me, I know some stuff about the Marvel Cosmic, and others I'm kind of blind to it. I don't know that much about Guardians of the Galaxy. These were not characters I followed. When the movie came out way back when, I didn't know, like, it's Star-Lord, Groot, Rocket, Nebula, Gamora, Drax the Destroyer. And I'm like, who, and who? These aren't the West Coast Avengers. Like, if it had been the West Coast Avengers, I'd have been very familiar. But quite frankly, had it been the Great Lakes Avengers, I'd have been more familiar.
You might have had it. Yeah, right.
I didn't really know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy. So Drax is a character. I'm not interested in the character. I was interested in CM Punk. So this could have literally been any character, and I'd have taken a flyer on it.
Yeah, his first appearance, Iron Man number 55, October of 1972, which I feel like that might have been right around the time Thanos' first appearance was as well.
I realized so many of them, like, best Marvel villains showed up in Iron Man first.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it away, but one of my favorite Marvel villains of all time is Fin Fang Foom.
Oh.
I would have thought that's like a Shang-Chi character or something else like that. He's not just a dragon, he's a space dragon. So I would have thought he would have been a space villain of some kind, like the Fantastic Four or something like that. Nope, turns out he's an Iron Man villain.
This is the same book, Iron Man number 55, that Thanos first appeared in. So Thanos and Drax definitely have a history here.
More importantly, when does the Thanos copter show up?
Yeah, not in these books.
Just to conclude, I did a search for standalone books and came across Earthfall. It seemed like an interesting premise. I can't tell you anything more about it or why I picked it or if I have any previous touch with the character or the story. It was a random grab off of Amazon to complete the trio.
All right, well, let's do a little bit of character background here and get you prepped for what we're going to get into with Earthfall. So, of course, Drax the Destroyer. And at the start of this story, Drax is very different from the pop culture version many people know today. He's a powerful green-skinned alien warrior with a reputation for extreme violence, but he is also unstable, blunt, and he's quite mentally diminished. Other cosmic criminals fear him not for strategy, but for raw destruction. Now we get introduced to Cammie, a 10-year-old girl from the isolated town of Coot's Bluff, Alaska. She's sharp, sarcastic, emotionally guarded, and far more self-possessed than the adults around her. Cammie is not a traditional kid in danger character. She actively engages with the chaos around her and is curious about it rather than frightened. She is going to be our human lens of the story, pretty much. Cammie's friend Dex is in this. It's kind of her emotional counterweight. Where Cammie is fearless and confrontational, Dex is anxious and empathetic and overwhelmed by events. He reacts the way a normal child should react to aliens, violence, and occupation, and pees his pants at one point in this book. Then we have Paibok. Paibok is a Skrull warrior and strategist, best known, which I think he is the Super Skrull. I'd have to double check that. But
I had some Paibok for after dinner last night. Erica went out and got some Paibok from the local Christian ice cream store.
That's good. It's good stuff.
Not supposed to have pie with the diabetes and all, but
no, well,
treat yourself to some pie.
I was going to say your doctor might have an issue. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Paibok is a Skrull warrior and strategist, best known for his intelligence rather than brute strength. In this story, he is primarily the antagonist, not because he's the most violent, but because he is the most calculating. Paibok understands leverage, fear, and authority, and he treats the situation like a problem to be managed rather than a battle to be won. Then we have Lunatic, spelled Lunatik, a volatile, cruel, and impulsive, driven by instinct and aggression. He thrives on chaos and intimidation and has little patience for planning or restraint. Lunatic embodies the raw savagery of the cosmic criminals that we're going to be seeing in this story. And then we have the Blood Brothers, twin alien warriors who share a deep psychic bond. They operate as a unit, feeding off each other's rage and bravado. Obsessed with reputation, dominance, and proving their toughness, they are quick to fight and slow to think. Their presence reinforces the idea that not all villains here are masterminds. Some are just dangerous and insecure predators. And couple mentions in this book of Moondragon and Thanos. I think a lot of us know who Thanos is. I'm not going to talk about that. But Moondragon, even though she's not active in the story, she's kind of shown in a flashback. She's deeply tied to Drax's past. I think it might have been his daughter. I think that was meant. But she represents Drax's lost humanity and emotional core, and her existence looms over the narrative as part of his personal history and motivation. So I'm going to go ahead and read the gist here, and we'll get into talking about the book. So Earthfall is a bleak, small-scale Marvel cosmic story about what happens when interstellar monsters crash into a forgotten town and no heroes come to save the day. A prison transport carrying some of the galaxy's worst criminals, including Drax the Destroyer, crashes near Coot's Bluff, Alaska. The survivors seize control of the town through fear and violence. As the occupation tightens, the story follows both the rebirth and transformation of Drax, which I did not realize we were getting in this story, from a confused brute into a focused intelligence force of destruction. And the journey of Cammie, a hardened 10-year-old girl drawn into the chaos as a way out of her broken life. With no Avengers, no Fantastic Four, and no safety net, the series becomes less about superheroics and more about inevitability, survival, and change, culminating in a quiet but decisive resolution that leaves the town scarred, Drax fundamentally altered, and Cammie stepping into a future far removed from the world she knew. So there you go. That's the gist of Drax the Destroyer, Earthfall. Like I said, 4-issue series here. Mark, I believe I have. Get ready. First question, what did you think of the story?
Of the three, it's my least favorite.
Okay.
Part of the reason why I grabbed it was because it was Con Air.
Yeah. Yeah.
A spaceship full of alien criminals crashes on Earth, and Drax has to run around and try to put them back in the box. Great.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great movie. It's Con Air. I had a feeling this was a more serious version of Drax. My understanding of Drax is he definitely has a bloodlust for Thanos.
Right.
I think the stuff about killing his family is pretty consistent across all interpretations of Drax. Post when he was something else, like very early in the 80s. I don't want to offend the comic geeks out there that know this stuff by heart, so I won't go any further than that. But I will say this feels like older Drax. This feels like the Drax that doesn't show up on screen, that is taken from the comics and shows up on screen in the movies. This feels like the very older, more serious Drax, which either way, I was interested in how they would treat him and what they would do with him. I just didn't get a lot of that in this book. Maybe I wasn't paying a close enough attention. I read it when we were done with the Royal Rumble between 6 and 7 tonight, and I wanted to finish it, make sure I had it finished in time for the podcast. But I feel like this is yet another, like, here is Drax the Destroyer. Here is very familiar comic book hero. What's the story about? This child Earthling sidekick. We're going to make her the center of this book, even though no one's going to buy the book. Child Earthling sidekick featuring Drax the Destroyer. They'll only buy the book if it says Drax the Destroyer, but we're not going to talk really as much about Drax the Destroyer. We're going to talk about this kid instead. I don't like the bait and switch with Cammie.
Okay. All right. My thoughts going into this, and remember, I didn't read a lot of Marvel Cosmic just like you. I think maybe some of the Drax interactions that I've had in the past, I knew that he was like a big, dumb oaf. At the beginning of this book, that's what he is. He's like this hulked up, green-skinned thing of
force
just
of
full
nature.
Force of nature, mass destruction. This guy can, but he is not bright. Like he is stupid. And you see that in the dialogue where he's talking.
I think you're being unfair to Drax.
Okay, that's fine.
He's
I'll
concrete. He's blunt. He's like stupid. I don't think really properly describes him. I would say he's not an aggressive thinker. He's not. What's the word I'm looking for here? He's
verbose.
No, that means you talk.
He's definitely not verbose. No hit, Drax. Drax head hurt. He sounds like a Neanderthal.
He sounds like the biker cave Mongo.
No hit, Drax.
No hit, Drax.
And there's a point where I think he's clearly confused as we get.
I think when you say stupid, I think like dangerous, like he's bait McTrap Springer. Like that's stupid to me. I think
he could have been.
I think he's the kind of like limited intelligence where he's practically invincible.
Right.
Did you ever watch Black Adam?
Yes.
Where every time Black Adam entered a room, he went through the wall.
Oh, yes.
Because he could.
Right.
And Black Adam does certain things because he knows he's invincible. Nothing's going to hurt him. So, like, what? So, it's kind of that. I'll use your word just for easy language, and we can move this on. I'll stop interrupting you. But, like, it's that kind of stupid. I don't have the intelligence of that self-preservation because I don't need to self-preserve. I'm indestructible.
But there's also a moment where things change for him when he looks at Pybok, and just because Pybok has green skin, he thinks that's his dad.
He's a simple kind of man.
I feel like there's some mental stunting going on there at the very least.
He's special.
What I didn't realize, though, is that this was going to be a story about how he transforms into the Drax that we know from the films. This comes out in 2005, which is well before the Marvel Cinematic Universe, maybe a couple years before The Incredible Hulk. So, and we're well before Guardians of the Galaxy. So cinematic Drax is not there yet. But I remember seeing Batista's portrayal of Drax going, this is not the big dumb guy, like the really dumb guy that I remember. It's interesting to see that this is the transition where we learn how he actually changed into something brand new. Let me ask you about that transformation. The way that it is explained, with a question mark for sure, is that he was drinking fuel, drinking light speed plasma. After this, he's not the brightest, but Pybok was talking about how I found him sitting by the wreckage. He was thirsty and drinking some type of like star plasma or something that fueled this ship. And most people would die from the fumes. He just was drinking it and then realized that he didn't like the taste and stopped drinking it.
I don't see how it's any different than Four Loko.
Okay, sure. But he then, later on, as things progress throughout the story, gets into it with the Blood Brothers. The Blood Brothers just feel like they need to start a fight with Drax. The fight ends up in town at some point, and then it's Lunatic who takes Drax by surprise, and then all of a sudden, Pybok basically puts a blade through Drax's head and kills him right there in front of the town. Cammie convinces one of the Blood Brothers that Pybok said I could have this body. Pybok said, and the Blood Brothers like, okay, whatever, throws him down into a ravine. She goes down there, sits by him while he continues to smoke. She has no idea what she's going to do with this thing. She just thinks it's cool because what else is there to do in Coot's Bluff? So she watches this body smoke, and then all of a sudden, as night falls, like a fist comes barreling out of the chest of whatever Drax was. It's Drax reborn. That's the main thing that we get out of this. I think that's issue 3 when that happens. What are your thoughts on that being a thing? What'd you think?
I think it's an interesting... I'll tell you this. I'm trying to give you something because I don't want you to pull teeth out of me. So, but I didn't.
I feel like
the story did not reach me the way that you were hoping it might. I will say this. Because I'm used to Drax being indestructible, it's kind of a part of his character. Seeing him die and get resurrected was at least one of the more memorable parts of the book.
Sure. It's a weird way, though. I mean, we don't even get any explanation as to how this happens. It's not like somebody says, oh, yes, that makes sense. It's part of his race to do that. He dies and then he reforms inside his own body like a cocoon. I don't know what happened. He just pops out of the guy's body. His own dead body comes out of there. And then we have a new reformed, a very slender Drax now.
A very sleek-looking Drax, bathing suit body.
Prior to him dying, there were flashes of intelligence that Drax was having. And then when we get the new Drax, he's actually way more intelligent than it seems like his counterpart was prior to that. That was probably, just like you said, one of the more memorable parts of the book. Did you have any thoughts on Cammie here, his sidekick?
Every girl character in these Marvel books, it looks like there's someone's little sister that got dragged to a local punk rock show at the community center.
Yeah.
Every last one of them. Just once, I want to see like a girl in one of these books come out and she's like, oh my God, I don't want to be involved in this. I just got my nails done. Do you have any idea how long it took me to get these lashes put in? I'm not going on an adventure with you. And it's like, be more interesting if like, oh no, I'm forced to go on an adventure with Drax the Destroyer here. But I just want to go home. I have a date this Saturday.
No, that is not Cammie.
Or here's the thought: boys like adventures. What if it had been a boy? I'm just saying. What if it had been a 10-year-old boy who longs for adventure, wants to get off his farm, and when he sees Drax the Destroyer, and he's like, "Oh boy, this is my opportunity. Take me with you to Oz." Drax. And Drax is like, "Oh, Thanos killed my children, and here we have a child. I will take on this child because I miss my own, and I am purposeless if I am not a father." Perfectly nice ideas.
Okay.
Nope.
Well.
Every one of these girls has to look like the bass player from Hole.
They give her a bit of a backstory here.
L7 Riot Girl band. I can't go on an adventure with you. I have to think about feminism.
I would say that they did at least a fair enough job to give everybody an understanding as to why she is the way that she is.
I'm arguing it's the same character every time we.
I hear you. I hear you.
In one of these books.
But I felt like I'm not seeing too often that we're going to some young girls wanting to go off on this felt very much like a Doctor Who companion vibe for sure.
You have a daughter, right?
Correct.
Was she ever a teenager?
I think so.
Did she have friends?
At one point.
Okay. Your eldest son.
Yes.
Is he a teenager?
Yes.
Does he have friends?
Yes.
If Drax the Destroyer lands in your front yard,
it's a story as old as time, Mark.
Getting on the ship.
Yeah.
Mongo and his friends, or Kira and her friends?
I hear you, but that's what makes the story interesting. If we're going to do the same old trope over and over again, we're going to send the young boy out there. Of course, it wouldn't have mattered to me one way or the other.
Also, the girls are always snotty. Snotty girls. Snotty girls.
Snotty girls.
Let's read a book called Snotty Girls.
Right.
And like, why can't like the boys are not possessed of being snotty? We don't have snotty boys out there. Like, oh, you big oaf, you big dummy. Like, Star Lord's out there, Iron Man out there, Thor's out there. They sent me the Timu Hulk. We don't have snotty boys, sarcastic boys.
Is Marvel Cinematic Universe or Marvel Universe just made up of guys and young boys?
It's a sausage factory. No, that's not true, because I do want there to be sexy women.
Okay, there's got to be some bad girls in there. All right.
Yes,
then.
Everybody looks like Ms. Marvel in her bathing suit era.
Yeah.
Not in her women wrestler in the Saudi Arabian Royal Rumble outfit.
But did you at least appreciate the fact that we didn't get any other superheroes in this?
Yes.
All right, that's good. Any issues with the art? Did you like the art? Was it fine?
Yeah, the art's fine.
The art was fine.
I didn't like the word bubbles. The word bubbles bothered me.
Reason why? I didn't have an issue with that.
Just like the weird way they did them, that they were like different.
Oh, yes, because they were speaking a different like alien language. And that was their way of kind of showing you that it was not English that they were talking. I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay. I mean, obviously, this is a one and done for you. You're never coming back to Drax Earthfall, right?
What? Come back to what? It was a 4-issue limited series.
Yeah. Well, that's a question. Sometimes people might find something that...
I don't reread anything.
Would you ever come back to it for any specific reason?
No.
All right. Let me see if I do have a handful of moments here that I think I listed, I believed, my top moments from the book. I do like the setting. I mean, I love the fact that we're like out in BFE. It's Alaska. Of course, we're going to be way far away. This isn't something where I'm really surprised it took S.H.I.E.L.D. that long to get there, because I'm sure they would have monitored the crash.
Went by donkey.
It was forever. I did think it was interesting that Drax was sensing what the engines were doing before the crash happened. He just tells the other inmates to shut up. He's listening to the pops, and everybody's like, what are you talking about? At that point, the engine had failed, and they fell down to Earth. Cammie, again, I thought she was unique. She does look like a little bit of a punk, but she has a pretty bad backstory. Her mom's a drunk, and she wants to escape. She wants to get out of Coot's Bluff as best as she can. There's nothing there for her, and she knows that. When all this stuff happens, like the most interesting thing that ever happened in town. So she goes right to, it's weird how she finds out about it too. There's security footage of it or something that's on a public access channel. She calls up her friend Dex. She's like, let's go look at this thing. Let's go figure out what's going on. So she decides to go straight into danger. When she gets confronted by the aliens too, that was what's funny, is Pybok and Lunatic show up and they're expecting to scare her, and she's not moving at all. She's like, I see this stuff all the time. This happened last week on TV in New York. So she isn't scared at all. The execution of the elderly woman, like the elderly woman stands up in this Army Navy place and is like, hey, you're looking for the mayor, right over there he is. And then she proceeds to tell Bybok pretty much just to go shove it. He looks over at Lunatic and says, okay, kill her. He grabs her and turns her head completely around on her body. Granted, this isn't really like gruesome and gory or anything like that, but it's definitely a situation. It's definitely a comic where it was outlined in the shadows. Like you could see exactly what happened. Drax being executed in the street was a big moment. Just watching him get the spike through his head, and there he is laying on the ground with a hole in his head. You're like, okay, wow. And the Cammie's reaction was like, whoa, cool. Drax being reborn was weird, but definitely like a big moment. The Blood Brothers, one of the Blood Brothers ends up in the final fight with Drax. Drax stabs one of them straight up in the head with 2 knives and kills one of them. I love how Bybok is standing there and Drax is like, all right, you ready? Let's go. We're going to fight.
I think that's my big criticism of the book, is that it takes 4 issues for Drax to finally start doing the premise of the book.
And that is to kill the other guys?
Yes, or get him back. Like, take out the guy. We don't want criminals running around the earth, so Drax has to take him out. It takes a while to get there.
Okay.
But when it does, it's satisfying. You know what a better structure would have been?
Tell me.
The New Lieutenants of Metal.
All right. Now remind me, because I know we covered it. I just cannot remember.
Every issue there was a new villain.
A new villain. We had a 4-issue story here. We had a definite beginning and ending. So I don't think they would have every issue a new villain. I mean, I would have liked that. That would have been neat. But
what would have been a better way to do this?
Tell me, Mark.
Kill Bill. Not the exact structure. But what if he had spent the 4 issues going after the worst criminals in the galaxy, and then he has to deal with the final one, and the final one has somehow been entrenched in the Kingpin's army or something, or sought shelter in Latvia with Dr. Doom.
Right.
Or became an Avenger. Because he was an outlaw in space, but he wasn't an outlaw on Earth, and Earth doesn't know any better.
That's right.
Or became an X-Men. They'll take anybody.
That's true.
I was born with powers. You're technically a mutant.
Well, yeah, the way that this resolves itself is Bybok and Drax are going to face off. And Pybok's like, I am not going to fight you. I am not even remotely going to do anything, and proceeds to push a button and turn himself in. He goes and gets arrested. The next thing we know, we're on whatever the next ship is, and Drax and Cammie are there. Drax has taken Cammie with him into space, which explains the next one of the appearances of the next comic. So there you go. That is Drax the Destroyer, Earthfall. As far as my overall take, I think it works for me. It's a complete self-contained story. It held my attention for all 4 issues. It knew what it wanted to do. It didn't overstay its welcome. It's not massive. It's not no massive cosmic tale. It's not some sweeping Marvel event. It's a transition story that served the purpose of telling you the dumb Drax we used to have is no longer going to be a thing. This is the new Drax, and it's essentially a way of reworking the character in order to make him more of a mainstay in the Marvel Universe in 2005. He was probably on the fringe still. But yeah, this is a way of them giving us a new shiny Drax. A new shiny Drax. There you go. So that's my final thoughts. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before we move on to the next one?
Merciful God, no.
Thanks for joining us. All of this would not be possible without W2Mnet.com, so make sure to seek them out for more podcasts. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please feel free to share, and we look forward to entertaining you again soon.